The holy gentleman. Well, lady, if I told you that the key to unlocking your deepest desires lies not in the world around you, but within the vivid theater of your own mind. Yet if success, love, health, and wealth were not things you chased, but realities you created through focused imagination and unwavering belief. Tonight, I want to share with you a truth known by the greatest minds of all time, but to a truth Napoleon Hill hinted at when he wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But long before or after those words echoed through history, a man named Neville Goddard whispered something even more potent. Imagine it. Not once, not twice, but 100 times, and it will become real. This is not just daydreaming. This is creation, but to walk of the Holy Spirit. You are not a passive of your destiny. You are its architect, and when you imagine something clearly, feel it deeply, and repeat it faithful, you awaken the unseen power of the universe to shape your outer world in the image of your inner vision. So tonight, I ask you not to work harder, but to imagine better, to hold a picture of your dream again and again, the whole time, until loftier subconscious, unconscious steps it is fact, and the world has no choice. While imagination is the workshop of the soul, use it both. Within every individualized and invisible force, a silent power more profound than any external circumstance or material resource. That power is imagination. It is not mere fantasy, not idle daydreaming, to walk with the Holy Spirit, but the creative faculty by which all things in the physical world are first formed. Before the skyscraper, there was a vision. Before the invention, there was a dream. Before success, there was an inner picture of triumph that had to be held with unwavering clarity. The greatest leaders, inventors, walked with the Spirit, and pioneers of history were first visionaries. Men and women who dared to see what was not yet visible and believed in what the world not yet accepted as possible. Napoleon Hill called imagination the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. Neville Goddard went even further. He taught that imagination is not just a mental tool, but the walk very essence of God is God, and within man it is divine. It is sacred, it is yours. You hold the paintbrush. The canvas is your life, and the masterpiece you create depends entirely on the courage which you imagine. To use imagination boldly means to cast off doubt, to shake off the limitations imposed by past failures, walk with the Holy Spirit, to see yourself as the person you truly want to become. Even if nothing in your present reality supports that vision, it means not waiting for evidence before believing. It means stepping into a mental image of success, love, health, abundance, or joy, and living in it repeatedly until it becomes more real than your current circumstances. Most people use their imagination against themselves. They worry, they rehearse failure, they predict rejection, they dwell in limitation. But the bold mind, the awakened, reclaims this faculty and bends it toward creation. Neville taught that imagining creates reality, and to imagine something over and over with feeling is to fertilize the seed of its manifestation. Hill would say that this is how desire is transmuted into reality, when backed by belief and clarity of vision. To imagine boldly is to live in the end, not the means. It is to focus not on how your dream will come true, but on the feeling that it you already has. You become the actor in your own mental play, embodying the role of the successful version of yourself. Walk with the Holy Spirit, and just as an actor prepares with conviction, emotion, repetition, so must you imagine a life it becomes the only life you can see. This is a passive act. It is not wishful thinking. It's your inner work. Just as a sculptor chips away at marble to reveal the figure inside, so must you shape your mental world with precision and discipline. Every image, every word, every emotion you associate with your imagined life must be infused with certainty. Doubt must be cast out. Fear must be silenced. For imagination, when used boldly, becomes a command of the universe, blueprint from the soul to the substance of life itself. Repeat your vision until it becomes your belief. But to walk with the Holy Spirit. The mind does not differentiate between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. Simply absorbs repetition. What you repeat, you reinforce. You reinforce becomes a belief. First subconsciously, then outwardly in your behavior, decisions, and ultimately in your reality. This is the very foundation of both Neville Goddard's and Napoleon Hill's teachings. The whole petition is the gateway to transformation. Single thought may pass through the mind like a breeze. A repeated vision, deeply felt and consistently held, becomes a wind that reshapes the landscape of your life. Repetition is the language of the subconscious mind. This deeper part of your consciousness, the part that breathes your lungs, beats your heart, but walks with the Holy Spirit and governs your automatic behaviors. Does not respond to logic or debate. It responds to emotion and persistence. When you repeat an image, a phrase, or a scene in your mind often enough, especially with emotional conviction, it becomes impressed upon the subconscious as truth. Whether it is currently visible in the outer world or not becomes irrelevant. Once the inner belief is established, the outer Holy Spirit, but the outer world must eventually conform. Neville Goddard emphasized that imagining the same scene over and over again with feeling and faith plants the seed of that reality in the soil of consciousness. And just like a seed planted in the ground, it takes time, nourishment, and care, but it will grow. The walk with the Holy Spirit. He'll hood this by stressing the importance of autosuggestion, repeating affirmations and mental images with clarity, even and determination until they are accepted as fact by the subconscious. Through this process, your dominant thoughts become your dominant beliefs, and your beliefs are the script by which your life unfolds. Repetition builds momentum at first, but to walk with may feel unnatural to imagine you're wealthy when your bank account says otherwise. It may seem delusional to visualize success when you've only tasted failure. But that is precisely why repetition is necessary. You are not lying to yourself. You are reprogramming your perception. You are choosing to believe a higher truth, one shaped by desire vision, but an inner conviction rather than by current circumstances. And the more you repeat that vision, the more it becomes familiar. The more familiar it becomes, the more natural it is. Eventually, what once seemed like a fantasy begins to feel like a certainty. The mind is a creature of habit. Whatever you feed it regularly becomes its reality. If you allow fear and doubt to dominate your mental repetitions, we will unknowingly solidify failure and limitation as your beliefs. But if you choose to saturate your mind with images of success, strength, and fulfillment, repeated faithfully and emotionally, you will construct a belief system that attracts those very things into your experience. This is not magical thinking. I mean, discover walk with the Holy Spirit as meditation. The inner image impressed through constant repetition becomes the outer fact. You do not need to convince the world, you need to convince yourself. And once belief is established within, the world responds without hesitation. Feel the wish fulfilled, not someday, but now. The key to transforming your reality is not in someday dreaming of your desires. To the walk with the Holy Spirit. but in bringing them into the emotional present. Neville Goddard emphasized this over and over again, because not when you simply see what you want, but when you feel what it's like to already have it. This feeling deep, genuine inner experience of fulfillment is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. It is not enough to visualize. It is not enough to hope. To walk with the Holy Spirit, but the real power lies in feeling the state of the wish already fulfilled and dwelling in it as if it were your current truth. When you imagine something vividly, you give it form. But when you feel it emotionally, you give it life. Feeling is the secret, the energetic force that impresses the subconscious mind and sets unseen forces in motion. Napoleon Hill spoke of the power of faith, the walk with the Holy Spirit, and how faith must be emotionalized belief. Similarly, Neville taught that faith is not blind hope, but a deep knowing that what you desire is already yours in consciousness. And since consciousness is the only reality, your feeling of already being the person who has achieved, received, or become what you desire is the creative act itself. To walk with the Holy Spirit. To feel the wish fulfilled is to occupy a new state of being. It is to shift from lack to abundance, from waiting to receiving. It means thinking no to the you desire success. Do not merely think about what success might be like in the future. Instead, bring the experience inward. Feel the satisfaction, the pride, the peace that would come if your goal had already materialized. To walk with the Holy Spirit. Lessons, emotions, posture, and energy reflect that new state of identity. By doing this, you recondition your mind to align with the desired outcome. Most people delay their sense of joy, confidence, or satisfaction until external results give them permission. But those who understand the deeper laws of creation reverse the process. They feel first and let the world catch up. With the walk with the Holy present, feelings are not reactions, they are causes. They send instructions to the subconscious and to the universe, declaring what is real to you. Universe, impartial and responsive mirrors that interact through circumstances, opportunities, and synchronicities. The more you do on the feeling the wish fulfilled, the more natural it becomes. The more natural it feels, the more your mind acceptance it as truth. This inner acceptance is critical because the subconscious cannot manifest what it does not believe. You must become comfortable with the success you seek, emotionally acclimated to it until it is no longer foreign or distant. The feeling makes it familiar, and what becomes familiar becomes inevitable. To walk with the Holy Spirit, to embody the wish fulfilled now is to act and think and feel as if the reality is already yours. It is not about pretending or faking. It is about entering a new state of consciousness where your desire already exists and allowing yourself to live from that inner reality. Your subconscious accepts what you persistently feed it. But to walk with the Holy Spirit, the subconscious mind is the silent partner in every success story, every failure, every transformation. It does not reason or argue, it does not evaluate right from wrong or real from imagine. It simply receives and obeys. Whatever idea is repeated with emotion, whatever image is impressed with feeling and consistency becomes a belief. And that belief becomes the guiding force behind behavior. To the whole of choice and outcomes, Neville, Napoleon, and Napoleon Hill both understood this fundamental true thing. The conscious mind is fertile soil, and what you plant in through repetition and emotion will surely grow. The subconscious governs the vast majority of our daily actions, from how we respond to stress to how we perceive money, relationships, the walk with the Holy Spirit, and self. What it all begins with what's beneath conscious thought. You may consciously wish for wealth, success, or love, but if your subconscious is saturated with fear, doubt, or scarcity, it will sabotage every attempt to move forward. That is why feeding the subconscious the right ideas is not a casual task. It is the most important inner work you can do. To walk with the Holy Spirit. Persistent feeding means more than casual affirmation. It means returning again and again to the vision you want to realize. It means surrounding your mind with thoughts, words, images, and emotions that support the life you are choosing to create. Neville Goddard spoke of feeling the wish fulfilled as a way to impress the subconscious. Well, to walk the Holy Spirit, he knew that the subconscious bonds most powerfully to emotionalized thought. Feeling combined with repetition. Napoleon Hill taught his concept of autosuggestion, the repeated statement of a belief or will backed by emotion until it becomes a fixed part of the mental framework. You cannot plant a seed once and expect a harvest. You must nurture it daily. To hold this means feeding the subconscious with clarity, confidence, and consistency. You must become aware of your dialogue, what you say to yourself throughout the day, and redirect it when it drifts into fear or negativity. Every word repeat, every scene you imagine, every feeling you dwell upon is food for the subconscious. Feed it strength, it returns strength. Feed it doubt. So we discover walk the district of the Holy Spirit. It returns hesitation. It is not just about positive thinking. It is a committed mental discipline. The subconscious is shaped through the doing-on thoughts you allow to take root and grow. If you want to change your life, change what you consistently feed your inner world. Do not wait for outer evidence to begin feeding belief. The change must come first from within. The subconscious does not argue. It does not care if you tell it is real or imagined. It will accept anything that is repeated enough times, especially when infused with the emotion. This is the law that governs all inner transformation. By persistently feeding your subconscious the vision of your success, health, love, or purpose, you'll rewrite the internal script by which your life operates. To walk with the Holy Spirit. And once the subconscious accepts the new program, your actions begin to align automatically. Act if it's already real, and reality will catch up. One of the most powerful principles in both Goddard's and Napoleon Hill's teachings is the idea that your inner world creates your outer world. The bridge between thought and manifestation is action, not necessarily physical effort. To walk, discover the Holy Spirit, but a change in your state of being. Act if your desire is already filled is to live from the end, to take on the minds and emotions and behaviors of the person you would be if your goal were already realized. It's not about pretending or faking. It is about assuming the position of the fulfilled version of yourself so completely that the world begins to mirror that identity back to you. Neville Goddard taught that imagination creates reality. He emphasized a specific kind of imagining, one where you think from the end, not merely of the end. This means stepping into the state of the wish fulfilled and mentally living from it, feeling it, thinking like it, and responding from life, that new level of consciousness. When you assume the feeling of your wish already being a fact, you are no longer hoping or wanting, you are being. And being is creation. Napoleon Hill echoed this concept when he wrote about faith and belief. He said that belief, when backed by action and clarity, becomes a powerful force that draws circumstances and people into alignment. He spoke of acting with with definite purpose. To walk with the Holy Spirit, even before there is visible proof. Why is that kind of filled action shapes the subconscious mind? Kills your inner self that the result is already on its way, and as your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors shift to support the reality you've claimed. To act as if something is already true is to behave with confidence, not desperation. It is to talk. To walk with the Holy Spirit, and make decisions in harmony with your vision. If you desire financial abundance, begin managing your current resources with responsibility and gratitude as someone who respects wealth would. If you seek love, show up in your life with the openness and joy of someone who already feels deeply connected and valued. If you want health, make choices from the place of already being well. So not for the Holy Spirit, from the place of trying to fix what's broken. This alignment is more than symbolic. It is energetic. It creates a magnetic field around you that begins to attract the people, opportunities, and ideas that match the new state you are embodying. When you act as if, you send a clear message to your subconscious and to the universe saying, this is who I am now. The world responds accordingly, because it has no choice but to reflect the dominant state of your consciousness. Most people wait for external change before giving themselves to feel differently or act boldly. But those who understand the laws of the mind know that the change must happen first within. The more consistently you act from the place of your filled desire, but the more rapidly your external circumstances begin to reorganize themselves to that internal blueprint, consistency and imagine create certainty in results. The greatest transformations in life do not come from a single moment of inspired, but from the steady, repeated application of a vision held in the mind with clarity and emotion. Imagination is a tool of creation, but consistency is what turns the tool into a force. To imagine something, once plant a seed, but to imagine it consistently is to water it, nurture it, and allow it to grow into a living reality. Both Neville, Goddard, and Napoleon understood that sustained mental focus is what bridges the gap between desire and manifestation. But to go with the Holy is not that Neville taught the active repeating must be repeated until the state imagined becomes natural. The key is not only in emphasizing a desired outcome, but in returning to it regularly, morning, night, and throughout the day, until it becomes a dominant state of consciousness. This repeated dwelling in the imagined scene imprints it upon the subconscious mind, which begins to direct your actions, perception, circumstances toward its fulfillment. It is not a matter of willpower, but of saturation. The more the mind is saturated with an idea, the more the idea becomes part of your reality. Napoleon Hill referred to this same principle in his writings on autosuggestion and definite purpose. He advised readers to write down their goals, but to walk with Spirit, read them aloud twice daily and imagine themselves already in possession of their desires. Why? Because the repeated suggestion of an idea with emotion and faith impresses on the subconscious mind as a belief, and once belief is established, action becomes automatic. Results follow belief, and belief follows repetition. Consistency creates inner certainty. It neutralizes doubt. Not by suppressing it, but by overwhelming it with a new pattern of thought. Doubt thrives in gaps. Gaps in focus, gaps in effort, gaps in belief. But when you consistently return to your vision, mentally rehearse your success, and feel it as real, you leave no room for contradiction. The inner certainty grows stronger with every repetition. Spirit, the walk begins to override old program and replace it with a new dominant image of who you are and what you are capable of achieving. This consistency also sharpens your clarity. Each time you return to your imagined state, you refine it, make it more vivid, more believable, more detailed. The mind begins to accept it not as fantasy, but as fact. Eventually, the imagined world becomes more real than the current one because it is visited more often and with greater emotional intensity. This shift in inner focus becomes the founder for outer change. True consistency and imagination is not about mechanical repetition. It is about heartfelt engagement with the image of your fulfilled desire. It is about allowing that image to guide your feelings, to influence your behavior and shape your decisions. Through this process, your imagined state becomes a living presence within you, and what lives within you must eventually express itself in the world around you.